Well, welcome, folks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is 3:15 p.m. here on Saturday, June 29th, here in the lovely Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. The sun is shining bright, and today we have another broadcast of the Brazuka F1 E-Racing League. I'm your host this afternoon, Sterling C. Beard, and today our racers will be racing Spielberg, Austria. We have a relatively chopped up day today. We've got a one-shot qualifier, so everybody will be racing simultaneously to set their grid position. Then we have a short 8-lap race followed by a 25-lap race. So all in all, 33 laps today, not counting the one-shot qualifier. And we are in as we check out the cockpit of Africato Sul here. So again, the way this works is, if you are just joining us for the first time, a one-shot qualifier has everyone racing in their own instance of the track, which means that they are in a position where they can set the fastest possible lap time without having to worry about each of the other racers. It's not done sequentially. It's done all at once. And that gives us our grid position, our starting positions for the race. So as we can see here, if I get the details set up, tire, telemetry enabled, lap data enabled, track map, full track map. Some big looping turns here, augmented by, I would say, about 2 hairpins, maybe 3 hairpin turns. And we can see here, this is a lengthier course just in terms of the length that our racers have to go. We did lose Ice Manlos here, it looks like, unfortunately. And here we go, fastest lap so far, Hiram Pelosi with 1:05. So I would expect our races today to be about 40-45 minutes altogether, roughly, just depending on whether or not we have any safety cars come out. Well, we can see here, this is going to be our grid for today. Hiram Pelosi in first with a 1:05.686. And wow, not even a full second separating Boris Doito in 7th place. Tahariel was DSQ'd, however. So 1:06.95 from Boris Doito in 7th place. Very tight gap here, just 0.909. So we'll start the race here in about 30 seconds. That pulse pounding music in the background, always gotta love that. So this should be a comparatively quick race, I would expect. Ice Manlos is raiding me with a party of one. So Ice Manlos started a raid here. Much appreciated, Ice Manlos. Well, here we go. We got a sprint race today. So we'll see what'll happen. But again, with just an 8-lap race and then 25 laps, I would expect that we'll see everybody roll with soft tires at the beginning of the short race, and then with the lengthier race, maybe medium into short. I doubt we go hard into short, just 25 laps, not quite enough to justify hard tires probably. Weather looks clear. We'll see if anything inclement happens. If so, of course, the racers will pit and swap out to either intermediate or wet tires, but we haven't had a race like that with inclement weather in some time, so I would not expect that to be the case. And we'll be underway here momentarily once all of our racers load in. Here we go, folks. Already got a caution out, but I do think there was a little bit of a lag there because I heard things kind of go wonky at the very beginning. We've got Africato Sul and Mertens Carlos in a tight race for second place here. Soldier 1 Assault in fourth, Rudy Sacchetti fifth. Force 1 Paolo pushes up into fifth, passing Rudy Sacchetti. Then Ice Manlos seventh, Tahariel eighth, Boris Doito ninth, only about 1.1 seconds behind, so very tight intervals here early on. Hiram Pelosi in first place here, as they already are through into Sector 2. So like I said, wide looping curves. There's only about 2 or 3 spots in this course where our racers are really going to have to start gearing down to make the turns. So let's get our details in here. Stops, tires. There we go. Telemetry enabled. I really wish I didn't have to set this every single time. Well, as I suspected, most of our racers going soft tires. Africato, Sul, and Tahariel, the only racers going with mediums right now. But we have already completed our first lap here. Fastest lap, Hiram Pelosi, 1:09.155. So very, very quick. This race will be over before too long. So 1:09. So about a few seconds behind the qualifying, fastest qualifying times today. I say fastest qualifying. They were almost all identical. Impressive stuff. What I think makes this track maybe a bit different from the ones we've raced on so far is the verticality. And you can see these are in some nice hills here in Austria. It's Spielberb. So we get kind of an interesting sense of verticality. Of course, the curves maybe a little bit canted, making it a little bit easier for our racers to stay on the track as they can push against the ground to help keep them in position. We shall see here. Let's go ahead and we'll bump back a little bit from Hiram 1 Pelosi. Soldier 1 Assault here, about 2.2 seconds behind. Possible race strategies powered by AWS. 0 stops, but with soft tires or medium tires, so do not expect anyone to pit here. There we go. Fastest lap, Hiram Pelosi, 1:06.946. So coming through with that at the fastest lap so far today. Lap 3 underway already. Maybe not a bit of a surprise now that the pack is starting to spread out a little bit, but we do see Africato Sul making a move on Soldier 1 Assault's right side, passing smoothly. Not too much difficulty overtaking there around the hairpin at the beginning of Sector 2. And now it's going to be Soldier 1 Assault making the pass on the right-hand side of Africato Sul. Comes into the curve here in the middle of Sector 2. We can just barely see Hiram Pelosi's tail fins there, swerving around. Soldier 1 Assault doing his darndest to keep Hiram within viewing distance. He's about 0.870 seconds behind his best on this lap, on this sector just so far. And we are already almost halfway done with this race. Lap 4 starting here as soon as Hiram works his way across the checkered stripe line here. Soldier 1 Assault. Yep, here we go. That curve at the beginning of Sector 1, or midway through Sector 1, actually, and then the beginning of Sector 2. We do have a caution out in Sector 1. What happened there? We got some bit of a pileup, maybe? I think they might have had some bumps going on there as folks worked to get through that hairpin turn. Thankfully, no safety car out, no virtual safety car out, just caution flag, but nobody penalized yet. So comparatively safe. We'll see if anybody got some warnings here, and if anybody will get penalized. The race again halfway over. We do see kind of some wild stuff going on here in the middle of the pack. Tahariel and Boris Doido moving up, passing Force One Palo and Martins Carlos. So we've got a bit of a battle here in the back 5 or 6. The racers comparatively close together. Right now, we do see Soldier 1 Assault not that far behind Africato Sul. Africato Sul about 2 seconds behind Hiram Pelosi. Rudy Sacchetti overtakes Martin Carlos, moving into 8th place. Lap 5 now well underway. Overtake here in for Soldier 1 Assault, flying through the straightaway on Sector 1. Yep, we're seeing some overtakes here. Force One Palo, Rudy Sacchetti battling for 7th place. We'll go back and check on this part of the pack here. Rudy Sacchetti now trying to put some distance between him and Force One Palo. And trying to catch up here to Tahariel and Boris Doido. Again, these large looping turns, kind of fun to watch from the broadcast camera because it would appear that the AI running the camera tends to favor more overhead shots. So it's a little easier to keep track of where everyone is in relationship to each other when they're in the same frame. An enjoyable view here as we get over to the big curve in Sector 3 heading towards the finish line. Lap 6 already underway. Martins Carlos, however, pitting. Force One Paulo pitting as well. Interesting choices here. 6 laps in. Not sure why they're pitting. I would expect maybe they had some real tire troubles or something to that effect. But both Force One Paulo and Martins Carlos shifting to soft tires from, I believe, soft tires, because we only had Tahariel and Africado Sul rolling on mediums this time. So again, a sprint race, just 2 more laps to go. Hiram Pelosi only about half a second ahead of Africado Sul. So, and behind Africado Sul, Soldier with Assault and Ice Manlos, each trailing by only about 2.5 seconds from each other. Oh, beautiful shot there by the AI. We do have a caution flag out in Sector 2. And that was for, looks like it was Rudy Sacchetti. We do have a caution, yeah, Sector 3 now. Oh, Rudy Sacchetti spinning out, having some trouble. Boris Doito, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But Rudy Sacchetti having some trouble there, spinning out in midway through Sector 3. So, thankfully regains control, pointed back down the right way towards the track, and working to make up some time. He's now about 14 seconds behind 6th place Tahariel. Checking up back at the front of the pack, lap 7 underway here. Africado Sul, 6 laps in on his medium tires. Only about 0.4 seconds ahead of Hiram Pelosi. So Hiram Pelosi overtaken by Africado Sul. Soldier with Assault 2.9 seconds behind Hiram Pelosi. Africado Sul racing for Team AlphaTauri, I believe, with the Bull that is not Red Bull. Working his way through Sector 3. That is a long pit road, too. My goodness gracious. Not just something you can quickly dip into. Well, here we are, folks. Last lap. Africado Sul with a 1.2 second lead. Tahariel time penalty, 3-second penalty, multiple warnings. We did catch a penalty earlier. Boris Doito currently with a penalty flag as well. So we'll see if anybody spins out. We have had a rather dynamic short sprint here today as the racers are wrapping up the first leg of this sprint race. Of course, last week I think we didn't have the virtual safety car or the real safety car come out at all. So nice clean race last time. Looks to be more or less the same this time. Not tons of penalty flags. I don't believe we've had a major collision. If we did, it was something that did not result in catastrophic damage. Africado Sul doing a little victory wiggle as he crosses the finish line in first place. Hiram Pelosi, 2 seconds behind. Soldier with Assault, 3 seconds behind Hiram Pelosi. The field now coming through. Boris Doito and Tahariel neck and neck, but Boris Doito squeezing in here. Or excuse me, that's, I apologize. I was still looking at Africado Sul. I thought, well, that's interesting that he's that close. Rudy Sacchetti now coming around, finishing in 7th. Martin Carlos and Force One Paulo. It looks like it's going to be Martins Carlos in 8th and Force One Paulo in 9th. And we do have 2 gender reveal specials on the field today. But that is our first leg here. Formula One Rolex Großer Preis von Österreich. Something. I didn't quite get it. Driver of the day goes to Ice Manlos. So here we go. Our sprint results here. Africado Sul in first for 8 points. Hiram Pelosi second. Soldier with Assault third. Ice Manlos fourth. Boris Doito fifth. Tahariel seventh. Rudy Sacchetti Tahariel 6th, Rudy Sacchetti 7th, Martins Carlos 8th, Force One Paulo 9th. So, an enjoyable, exciting first leg here. And this will be over momentarily. Then we'll be into our second race, which will be 25 laps, considerably longer. But given how quickly this first race went, I would not expect it to take much longer than about 30 or 40 minutes, meaning we should be wrapping this up midway past 4 o'clock or so. If that, 25-minute laps or 25 laps at about a minute 10 or so, or a minute 15 per lap, and that's would be on the slower side. We've been getting about a minute 6. You wouldn't expect that to be more than about 30 minutes roughly. So we'll see how things shake out now that we have triple the number of laps to get through. But I would still expect, just given the course conditions, given the way the racers are now kind of familiar with the course and how they've been, how they all had really excellent qualifying times, at least in my eyes, I would expect this to be, again, kind of a clean race. I do see that we've got maybe some rainier weather on the way. That could throw a wrench in things. I do recall the first race that I called was a wet one, and things just went haywire almost immediately. I recall there being a huge pile up at the beginning of the race and everything else, but hopefully that won't be the case here. All right, here we go. Caution flags out already, Sector 1 and Sector 3. I don't know why it does that. Could be a glitch, could be some sort of problem with the game itself. Africado Sul in first, Hiram Pelosi second, Ice Manlos moves up to third, Boris Dorito up to fourth, Soldier with Assault back to fifth, Rudy Sacchetti sixth. Africado Sul now passes Hiram Pelosi left side. Both these racers battling, coming neck and neck into that first hairpin turn, but it looks like it's going to be Africado Sul. A couple of racers kind of off wide to the left. We do have a caution flag out in Sector 2. It looks like Tahariel is going to not finish today. We already have the safety car out, so me and my big mouth, I do apologize. It would appear I've cursed the race. Possible race strategies powered by AWS. Starting with soft, going to heavy, or soft, heavy, soft between laps 8 and 17, and I didn't catch the second ones there. But we already have the safety car out. So unfortunately, Tahariel, something happened in that second hairpin turn that caused the safety car to come out. So things already going sideways here on lap 1 of 25. Still a lot of racing to be had. So of course we'll see the pack stack up here as everybody gets behind the safety car. We'll see how long the safety car is out for. Force One Paolo taking the opportunity to pit already. Interesting strategy, but I suppose it makes a certain amount of sense. Let's see, detail tires. There we go. Telemetry enabled, lap data enabled, full track map. All right, so a variety of tires now here for our racers. Boris Dorito, Hiram Pelosi, Soldier with Assault, Rudy Sacchetti rocking mediums as now Hiram Pelosi overtakes Boris Dorito. Tahariel has left the session, so Tahariel will not finish today. However, we've got Africado Sul on heavies, Force One Paolo switching to heavies, or hards, I should say. Some jockeying here between the racers up in the front of the pack. Hiram Pelosi still in first. No, drops to second. Boris Dorito overtakes. Two racers, however, choosing soft tires. That would be Ice Manlos and Martins Carlos, currently in 4th and 7th position. Hiram Pelosi, Africado Sul jockeying again. Hiram Pelosi overtakes. So lap 2 of 25, safety car already in. Hopefully the last time we'll see it today. As we can see here, Boris Dorito snaking his way through Sector 2, trying to warm those tires up. Of course, he's rolling with medium tires today. You see a couple of other racers maybe doing a little bit of a wiggle. Maybe not so much in the curves. And I say that. There was Africado Sul giving it a little wiggle. Kind of the equivalent of a video game wave, I suppose. Kind of fun. Here we are into the straightaways. We see our drivers doing a little more wiggling. I think I saw Boris Dorito doing a little bit there. Again, warming up the tires so that they grip a little bit better and can hopefully take turns better so the rubber's not as cold. It gets a better grip on this racing surface. Again, the weather here now overcast. Lap 3 of 25 underway. About an eighth of the way done with the race here. Safety car is still in. So we'll see when the safety car drops out here. I believe it will do so maybe at the beginning of the next lap. It'll head into the pit lane. We shall see. Race control safety car in this lap. Well, folks, I guess that I've got a little bit of time to plug my stuff here. Coming up here in a couple of weeks, it's the return of college football. College Football 25 will be launching from EA Sports. The first college football game since NCAA 2014, as now the safety car is out and the race begins anew. But I intend to play a lot of NCAA, College Football 25. So if any of you folks have ever been curious about gridiron football, American football, I would love to show you the pageantry and the power and the passion of that wonderful sport. And I will, of course, put that up on my Twitch and on my YouTube channel. And I would love to talk you through all of the strategy. And it'd be fun to connect a little bit because Ice Van Loos and I actually went to high school together. He's the reason I began calling the races here for the Brazuka F1E Racing League. He was a running back. I played a position we called split tackle, which meant that in practice, it was not at all unusual to find Ice Van Loos and I on the field at the same time. Rudy Cicchetti moves up 6th, battling now with Martins Carlos 6th and 7th place. So a bit of a battle here in the back of the pack going on. 3 racers in tight, Martins Carlos, Rudy Cicchetti, and Force One Paolo. And I don't know about Ice Van Loos, but I, to this day, still get a little bit of a PTSD flashback if I hear certain combinations of numbers like 26 or 46, especially. Boris Doito backs down to 2nd as Hiram Pelosi overtakes, heading into the first hairpin turn of the race, into the straightaway. It's Hiram Pelosi in 1st, Boris Doito 2nd, Africato Sewell 3rd, Ice Van Loos 4th, Soldier with Assault 5th, Martins Carlos 6th, Rudy Cicchetti 7th, Force One Paolo 8th. Caution flag out in Sector 2. Maybe a little bit of a bumper cars going on in the back of the pack. 8 racers still in the race today. So far, our only dropout was in our 9th place racer. So we are fully back underway here. 5th lap underway out of 25. So race is a little slow right now, about 2 seconds behind where it was on previous laps in terms of pace, at least back in the 3rd and 4th positions. But again, we see these the way these races have typically gone is you see maybe one person kind of pull out ahead. DRS now enabled by race control. We tend to see somebody pull out to the very front, but then we have a couple of packs, miniature packs that develop of 2 to 3 racers each. And then it becomes a question of, will the racer up front be able to hold it? Will they get a big enough lead that they can afford to pit? Soldier with Assault overtaking on the right-hand side over Boris Doito. Boris Doito making another move on the right, but not able to get back across Soldier One Assault's nose cone. So Force One Paolo does overtake Martins Carlos, moving into 6th place. Everyone about 4 or 5 laps in on their currently selected tires. Again, 2 people rolling with hard tires, multiple mediums, and 2 softs. So a variety of tires, a great diversity of tires here. Again, lap 6 underway currently. And I can't help but wonder, the sky a little overcast, a little dull, kind of some mist in the air. I can't help but wonder if we are going to have some inclement weather. We shall see. But in that case, it may come down to what racer decides to take the risk on pitting, switching to tires better suited for that kind of weather, whether they be intermediates or whether they be wets. get a load of that beautiful, lush landscape here in Austria. That rolling hills, those rolling hills, not fully mountains, I'd say, but a beautiful landscape. I actually have been to Austria myself once, believe it or not. This was about, I'm going to say, about 2008, summer of 2008 or so, somewhere around there. And I do recall that, I don't recall much of the trip, honestly. I do remember, however, going to Salzburg, where, of course, the Sound of Music was set. And lovely, lovely movie. They have TV channels there in their hotels that play the Sound of Music on loop 24/7 because they know which side of their toast is buttered. Oh, a collision there. We do have a collision. Boris Duito and Ice Van Los. Ice Van Los spinning out. His right-hand tire catching Boris Duito. Martins Carlos now with a 3-second penalty. Ice Van Los spun out there. Back tires catching. So we did actually catch that on screen for once. Half the time when this sort of thing happens, I just see that somebody's gotten a penalty flag. So no penalty flag out, however. So it doesn't look like anything was malicious, maybe just something kind of caught. So Ice Van Los now drops back to 8th place, about 5.3 seconds behind 7th place Martins Carlos. Top of the pack remains pretty tight. Africado Sul in first, Hiram Pelosi second, just 0.2 seconds behind. Soldier Wood Assault 0.3 seconds behind Hiram Pelosi. Force One Paolo moves up into 5th. And we are already 8 laps in, so a third of the way done with the race. It's not even 3:45 p.m. yet here in the lovely Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. DRS in here on this long straightaway after the first hairpin turn. Now we see Hiram Pelosi challenging a little bit. Africado Sul not able to get it before that hairpin turn, though. He challenged Africado Sul on the right-hand side. Both racers moving to the right side of the track, preparing. There we go. Oh, maybe a little bit of bumper cars there. Hiram Pelosi almost, it looked to me like he smacked into the back end of Africado Sul. But no caution flags, no penalties. Hiram Pelosi driving aggressively. Soldierman Assault a little bit further back. Maybe now trying to push up a little bit. Hard to tell from this angle. Of course, if something goes wrong, if you're Soldierman Assault, if something goes wrong, Africado or Hiram spin out or wind up kind of tangled up with each other. If you're Soldierman Assault, you've got to be in a position to make it, take advantage of that, and that's going to mean working your way through and avoiding any tangle-ups that they do have. So you need to be close, but not too close. Hiram Pelosi, 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Hiram now in third, Soldierman Assault second, Africado Sul first. Rudy Sacchetti moves up to 5th over Force One Paolo. Ice Van Los now in the back of the pack, 30 seconds behind Martins Carlos. Lap 10 underway here. The pack a little bit spread out in the middle of Sector 2 right now, but again, not massive gaps. Even when you look at the distance between Africado Sul and Martins Carlos here, we can check the detail. Oh, I don't need that. I need the tire. I need the interval. So Martins Carlos less than 10 seconds behind first place Africado Sul, or exactly 10 seconds behind basically. So not an insurmountable lead here for Africado Sul. Anybody in the first 7 slots could take him over if the opportunity arises. Rudy Sacchetti, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Lap 11 underway here, and again, these laps are coming so quickly. It is kind of wild to watch, honestly. Because you're only dealing with about 1:05, 1:10, maybe 15-second laps on a slower pace. Lap 12 underway, race about halfway over. At this point, Africado Sul remains at first, Soldier One Assault second, Hiram Pelosi third, Rudy Sacchetti pushes up to fourth, Force One Palo fifth, overtaking Boris Doito, Martins Carlos overtaking Boris. Boris having some issues here, dropping to seventh. Oh, excuse me, no, he's pitting. I apologize, he chose to pit. Moving now to hard tires, looks like he's not planning to pit for the rest of the afternoon. So my apologies, I do apologize. No issues there for Boris Doito, just chose to pit, dropping him back to seventh. Ice Manlos still 37 seconds behind Boris Doito. Ice Manlos now with the fastest lap of the day with 1:07 for Alpine F1 team. So Ice Manlos trying to make up for lost time here. Driving again a gender reveal special. So we'll see if he's able to make up these laps. The problem is these laps don't really have an opportunity for a lot of optimization. Just with these big looping curves and only a trio of hairpin turns with multiple straightaways, depending on how you want to count it, 1, 2, 3, 4 straightaways, maybe even 5. There's a lot of places where if you have real good cornering ability, you're not really going to benefit. Yeah, you've got the 2 hairpin turns at the beginning and of Sector 1 and mid-Sector 2, and I guess midway through or close to the end of Sector 3, but you're not in a situation where, taking the optimal line is going to really result in you upstaging your competition. As we take a look at the first-person camera for first place Africado Sul here. Let's take a look back here at Rudy Sacchetti and Force One Palo in 4th and 5th place, respectively. Sacchetti trying to fend off very tight challenges from Force One Palo. Palo actually does now overtake on the left-hand side. Quick move there. DRS coming up for both these racers in about 60 meters, and it's in. So Rudy Sacchetti and Force One Palo in perhaps the closest neck of the race. Ice Manlos chasing Martins Carlos here, maybe making up some time. I don't know if he'll be able to make up enough time to get back into the top 5 or so, but making a valiant effort here to get back into this race. Overtake in now for Rudy Sacchetti. Trying to catch up with Force One Palo, who is opening up a little bit of a lead on him by about a second, maybe 2 seconds, close to 2 seconds. So, again, not insurmountable. So Ice Vanlos again chasing Martins Carlos. Only about 2.1 seconds behind Carlos. Martins Carlos about 7 seconds behind Boris Doito, who's 10 seconds behind Rudy Sacchetti, who's 3 seconds behind Force One Palo, who's 8 seconds behind Soldier One Assault. Soldier One Assault and Hiram Pelosi in 2nd and 3rd place. Just 0.4 seconds difference. So very, very close here. almost kind of a Dutch angle on that camera view there of Hiram Pelosi swinging around the hairpin turn in Sector 2. 16 laps in, 9 laps to go. I'll tell you what, these laps happen so quickly, it's easy to forget. Just how fast they are going. As we have the nose wing view here from Hiram Pelosi's car. We've hit that portion of the race where it's actually difficult for me to find anything to talk about, just because the pack's thinned out enough and stretched out enough that we kind of can go into a holding pattern until our last couple of laps. But the good news is, again, a relatively clean race today. The safety car just out a grand total of once. Nothing too wild. Well, Africato Sul is now 17 laps in on his hard tires. I just don't imagine him pitting at all today. It would seem unlikely to me at the very least, just given everything else that he's been doing. 17 laps in, I would expect those tires to be able to hold for another 8 laps. He's opened up about a 5.1 second lead over Soldier One Assault, taking corners very nicely, very tightly. Force One Palo in third, also rolling with hard tires. Soldier Wood Assault, however, choosing to pit. 17 laps in on the mediums, choosing to pit now. That is going to have Force One Palo, I would expect, pass him. And he's going to soft tires. So Soldier One Assault looking to make this a sprint at the very end, as is Hiram Pelosi, who's also pitting. Now 1 lap in on his soft tires. So pitting not hurting Soldier One Assault much, really. He still maintains a 1 second lead over Boris Doito, but Boris might smell some blood in the water. Let's watch here. As we see the first-person view from Boris Doito's car as they round the hairpin at the beginning of turn 2. Laps 19 underway. Africato Sul, I was wrong. Africato Sul now choosing to pit, but he has a 16-second lead over Force One Palo. Of course, that lead is shrinking moment by moment. We'll see if Force One Palo, I would expect, is going to be able to overtake, but it's going to be tight. Africato Sul also looking to make it a sprint. He's got soft tires in now. Hiram Pelosi, fastest lap of the day, 107.257. Force One Palo does overtake. He is currently 2 seconds ahead of Africato Sul. So Africato Sul not wanting to take chances with those hard tires. However, on Africato Sul's left, overtaken by Hiram Pelosi as they gear down going into that hairpin in the second turn. So we'll see Force One Palo The only racer in the top 4 still rolling with the same tires he began the race with, or close to it. Hard tires here for Force One Paolo, 18 laps in. Iron Pelosi rolling with softs, as is Apricot Sul and Soldier with Assault. It's when we get to 5th place for Estoido that we see another hard tire. The remainder of the field, Martins Carlos, Ice Vanlos 2, Rudy Cicchetti rolling with mediums right now. So Iron Pelosi and Apricot Sul and Soldier One Assault feel the need for speed. It's going to take them a lap or two to get these tires warm, these soft tires, but again, better handling, higher speed, that's what you expect. Move here from Apricot Sul, overtaking Hiron on the right-hand side. Soldier One Assault, fastest lap, 106.845. So Soldier One Assault currently with the fastest lap. Apricot Sul now nipping at the heels of Force One Paolo, making a move on the left-hand side. Both of them have to gear down heading into this hairpin turn. And yes, Apricot Sul is going to overtake. He's going to get 0.4, 0.5, about a half second advantage over Force One Paolo heading into the S curves in Sector 2. Iron Pelosi also right on Force One Paolo's heels. Force One Paolo not having changed his tires yet. Looks like he's maybe stuck with the hard tires for the remainder of the race, because he is the only white surrounded by reds on all sides. We do have a caution out in Sector 3. We got a pile up here. Spin outs for, oh my goodness, Force One Paolo. If those graphics are displaying correctly, it looks to me like he's had, his tires are very worn down at this point. He drops down to 6th place. So I did see somebody else spinning out there as well. It might have been Hiron. Might have been Martins Carlos, actually. I think it was Martins Carlos, excuse me. So Force One Paolo dropping from the top 3 down to 6th place. Rudy Cicchetti 6.1 seconds behind Ice Vanlos. Ice Vanlos in 7th, just 1.7 seconds behind Force One Paolo. Martins Carlos 1.8 behind Hiron Pelosi. Hiron Pelosi half a second behind Boris Dorito. Boris Dorito 6.7 behind Soldier One Assault. Soldier One Assault 4 seconds behind Apricot Sul. In Apricot Sul in first place. Pretty fresh tires, just 2 laps in. 3 laps to go here. Lap 22 underway. So this race may actually finish by 4:05 p.m. here, U.S. Central Standard Time, as we are into lap 23. So 23, 24, 25. We got 3 laps left, including this one. Apricot Sul opening that lead up, now up to 4.5 seconds over second place Soldier One Assault. Tahariel, my pleasure. He says, thanks, Sterling, for once more amazing broadcasting. You're very welcome, my friend. You're quite flattering. I don't know if I'd call it amazing myself, but I do appreciate the encouragement. So we have here lap 23 out of 25. Apricot Sul still in the lead, 4.7 seconds as he enters Sector 3. 4.9 seconds ahead of second place Soldier One Assault. Hiron Pelosi, 4th place, just a half second behind Boris Dorito. Boris Dorito about 8 seconds behind Soldier One Assault. So we have a smattering of intervals here. Lap 24 underway. Race control, Force One Paolo, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So 3-second time penalty. Martins Carlos also got a 3-second penalty, multiple warnings. So we'll see. Cautions out in Sector 1 and 2, and we do have another issue here. Hiron Pelosi is going to not finish. Oh my word. I didn't catch what happened, but something happened. Hiron Pelosi, who is in contention for so much of the day, will also not finish. Ice Vanlos, 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Bumper cars a little bit there with Force One Paolo through a turn. the hairpin turn. So, and then there were 7 as we start our final lap. Apricot Sul, 6.2 seconds ahead of Soldier with Assault. Soldier with Assault, 10 seconds ahead of Boris Duito. Martins Carlos, 1.4 seconds behind Boris Duito. Force One Palo trails 8.2 seconds. Ice Manlos, 0.1 seconds behind Force One Palo. Rudy Sacchetti, 15 seconds behind Ice Manlos. I believe Soldier with Assault still holds the fastest lap of the day. Ice Manlos and Force One Palo battling back there for 5th place. Ice Manlos attempts to make an issue of it, pushing on the left-hand side. No can do. Force One Palo playing some solid defense, not letting the racer get around him. Rudy Sacchetti disqualified from session, failed to use required tire compounds. I didn't even know that was a thing. Failed to use required tire compounds? What the heck? So he was disqualified. Hiram Pelosi and Tahariel will not finish, which is different. And here we go, folks. Through the end of lap 25, it's going to be Apricot Sul in first, 7.4 seconds ahead of Soldier with Assault, who finishes second. Boris Duito coming in third. Martins Carlos, Boris Duito here coming in third. We've got gaps here of considerable length between each of the remaining racers. A little bit of a victory wiggle there for Boris Duito. Martins Carlos also coming in tight. Force One Palo going to finish here a split second ahead of Ice Manlos. So my goodness gracious. Well, I'm seeing notifications in chat here and on the Discord. Soldier One Assault. Congratulations to him. Apricot Sul, by the way, driver of the day, and you can see why, constantly staying up near the front of the pack. But it would appear, based on the notifications in chat that I'm getting from Tahariel and on the Discord, that Soldier One Assault, representing, I believe, Brazil, yes, Team Alpine for Brazil, is the champion of Grid Omega here in the Brazuka F1 E-Racing League. A hearty congratulations to Soldier One Assault. That's an accomplishment right there. And he did it with a second place finish today, earning a total of 24 points, 6 off the sprint race and then 18 from the regular race. So a second place finish both times, but enough to grab the championship of Grid Omega. Tahariel, 3 points from the sprint race. Rudy Sacchetti, 2 points from the sprint race. So, my goodness gracious, what a wild day here. The race finishing at 4:01 p.m. Central Standard Time here in the United States. May have actually been 4 o'clock on the dot. So a quick 50-minute race today. We got 2 races in. A doubleheader, 2 for the price of 1. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me today. My name is Sterling C. Beard. This has been a broadcast of Grid Omega in the Brazuka F1 E-Racing League. And thank you, everybody, for your patience today. I had a little bit of difficulty getting connected, for whatever reason, to the room to watch the race. So thank you again for joining me, and congratulations to Soldier One Assault for winning Grid Omega. Excellent racing. Excellent, excellent fun here today. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the broadcast here. But thank you very much, everybody, once again for joining me. And once again, coming up here in a few weeks, NCAA college football will be dropping the first college football video game in over a decade. In fact, 11 years. When NCAA 14 released in 2013, we didn't think it was going to be the last one for over a decade, but college football, the power, the passion, and the glory is back. I will be broadcasting. I will be playing online. I will be creating my own team playbooks. I'm going to have a heck of a lot of fun with that game, and I would love for anybody watching to join me. So follow me on Twitch, follow me on X, follow me on YouTube, wherever you are watching today. Once again, my name is Sterling C. Beard. Thank you very much for joining me. And to everybody around the world, good night, good luck, God bless, and sleep.